With the fall of Sargeras and the formation of the Burning Legion, a terrible evil began to pervade the cosmos, reaching out to every corner in their quest to annihilate and begin the universe anew. Sargeras saw creation as defective, the unwinnable battle with evil a fatal error that needed correcting. In his crusade, he sought out races that could command and control his growing army of demons, races that could wield both power and cunning with great proficiency. And so he came upon the world of Argus, and offered its Eredar inhabitants authority within his ranks. 2 Eredar leaders, Kil'jaeden and Archimonde, took Sargeras' deal and became great commanders within the Burning Legion. Velen, however, saw Sargeras' offer for what it was, and prayed for help to anyone who would listen. And from the void, Velen's prayers were answered. The Naaru Kyrae, a sentient being of energy, appeared before the prophet and offered his followers an escape. Velen and his exiled people fled Argus aboard the Naaru's dimensional ship, the Genedar, with the Legion close on their heels. The fleeing Eredar, now calling themselves Draenei, would learn much from Kyrae and the Naaru. The beings could travel dimensions, and had built ships capable of traveling through the twisting nether. They had a strong affinity for the Holy Light, and taught the Draenei how to use it. They had recognized the threat posed by the Burning Legion, who claimed dominance over the nether. Together, the Naaru sought to fight against the Burning Legion, imagining a grand army of light bent on combating the Legion's dark forces. Little else is known about the mysterious race of energy beings or their history. The promise of an army of light and their war against the Legion would become the Naaru's center of focus for millennia to come. The Genedar would crash upon Draenor's surface after Kyrae became ill and had to force the ship to land. Eventually the Legion discovered Draenor and took interest in its native orcs, and the planet itself shattered at the hands of Ner'zhul's uncontrolled magics and became the broken remains floating through the nether, known as Outland. Races from Azeroth would storm into Outland through the Dark Portal, preparing to face the Legion and its forces on the Orc homeworld. These events led to the Naaru's interest in Draenor, who moved their grand fortress Tempest Keep to the edges of the Netherstorm to better observe the events there. They have since dispersed across Outland, fighting against its many threats and shaping their army of light, which is made up of the Naaru, the Draenei, and the heroes and races of Azeroth who are prepared to fight for their very existence against the domination of the Legion. In one of Prophet Velen's many visions, he sees the future of this army, fighting the Legion alongside the dragons of Azeroth and led by a human clad in light-imbued armor. The leader's identity is unknown, though Anduin Wrynn is a strong suspect for the role. It is theorized that the Naaru were born at the dawn of creation and are forever immortal. When a Naaru is injured, it leaks energy and can eventually become darkened, even transforming into a void god in extreme situations. Darkened Naaru become susceptible to outside manipulations, but still appear to hold altruistic ideals, and can possibly regenerate their essence after many hundreds of years. It is exceedingly rare for a Naaru to fall, a feat that may require strong interference by a nefarious source. Only a dozen Naaru are known to the heroes of Azeroth, but Velen's vision reveals a staggering number of the beings, bathing the armies in wondrous light and combating the forces of the Legion. Even so, the 12 Naaru known to Azeroth have lent their support in the war against the Legion, and have become personal friends with many of the heroes they've fought alongside. Kyrae was the first Naaru met by Velen and the Draenei, and powered the ship Genedar, which eventually crashed into Draenor and became known as the Oshugun. Due to its illness in the crash, Kyrae slowly entered into a darkened state, its condition deteriorating over many years, but still retained its friendship with the Prophet Velen, and garnered a new friendship with the Orc Shamans of Draenor. In the alternate timeline, opened when Garrosh fled Azeroth, Kyrae is taken captive and enslaved by Cho'Gall, who eventually uses the Naaru's power to turn on his leader Gul'dan and forces the Naaru's transformation into the Void God, Decimatus. Kara, too, was aboard the Genedar, but upon the ship's crash into Draenor, Kara was badly injured and thrown from the ship. Its main timeline's status is unknown, but in the alternate timeline, the injured Naaru was discovered by Shadowmoon orcs high over Shadowmoon Valley and became known as the Dark Star. Darkened Naaru can be used to raise undead, and the use of Kara's power was outlawed until Ner'zhul was confronted by Grom Hellscream after the arrival of the main timeline's Garrosh. Ner'zhul broke the laws and began using Kara's power, eventually summoning the Darkened Naaru to the surface of Shadowmoon Valley. In the end, the alternate Velen sacrificed his own life and energy in order to return Kara to its lightened state, a feat that requires a very powerful individual to accomplish. When the Tempest Keep was moved to Outland, the Blood Elves under Kael'thas's rule quickly stormed its halls, seeking its powers and energies for themselves. They found a sole Naaru standing guard within, Muru. Kael'thas quickly ensnared Muru and relocated it to Quel'Thalas, where he commanded it to be used to fuel the new Blood Knights, Blood Elves trained in the light as paladins. The Blood Knights stole from Muru its light, using it for their own gain. This did not sit well with all the Blood Elves, nor their newly found allies within the Horde, including Lorthambar Theron, Thrall, and Cairn Bloodhoof. Eventually Kael'thas returned to Quel'Thalas and stole Muru for himself, transporting him to the Sunwell to use as a guardian in his plans. Muru's slow corruption had turned him to a darkened state, and when heroes of Azeroth stormed the Sunwell to put a stop to Kael'thas's plans to summon Kil'jaeden, they were forced to fight Muru, who eventually transformed into the void god Entropius, and fell at the hero's hands. After the defeat of Kil'jaeden, Velen was able to use Muru's remains to reignite the Sunwell, giving the well the power of both arcane and holy energies, and giving the fallen Naaru new purpose. In the old Draenei mausoleum Arkandun, Dore rests and waits. A Naaru that had been injured in the Genedar's crash, it entered a darkened state long ago. Velen laid its remains within Arkandun, and it remained there for nearly 1,000 years, until adventurers were sent by another Naaru, Adal, to awaken Dore. Its darkened body consumes the souls of the mausoleum, but by present day its return to the light is nearly complete. Dore suggests that a Naaru's entrance into a darkened state is merely a part of the Naaru's life cycle. Regrettably, there is nothing that can be done to stop this cycle. It is a faucet of the Naaru condition. Without the void, the light cannot exist. In the crashed Exodar on Azeroth, once a wing of the Tempest Keep, floats Oros. The Naaru ships are powered by the Naaru themselves, and Oros helped transport the damaged Exodar to Azeroth, and continues to reside at its heart. Kiru stands on the Isle of Quel'Danos, personally overseeing the front lines in the war against Kael'thas and the abuse of the Sunwell. Ziri, too, stands on the front lines, but in the war against Illidan's forces. It holds fast at the Black Temple's front door, leading the forces of the Aldor and the Scryers in containing and combating the Ildari threat. At the center of operations on Outland stands Adal, leader of the Shatar, the group of Naaru operating out of Shattrath City. At the behest of Khadgar, Adal led the forces of the Aldor into Shattrath City to regain it as a base of operations on Outland, and accepted the allegiance of the Scryers, a group of Blood Elves who have defected from Kael'thas. When Muru was taken and corrupted by the Blood Elves, Lady Liadrin, leader of the Blood Knights, journeyed to Shattrath to seek Adal's forgiveness, who revealed that Velen had long since made a vague prophecy that Adal and Muru had come to interpret as Muru's eventual downfall and the redemption of the Blood Elves. During Garrosh's campaign against the Alliance, Adal sends his reinforcements to Theramore to defend against the Horde, likely again at the request of his close friend Khadgar. Alongside Adal, Garrus and Veru also inhabit Shattrath, bathing those who speak with them in their light and providing additional services of the Shatar. During the war against the Lich King, the Crusader Bridenbrad falls victim to the Plague of Undeath in Icecrown. After requesting the help of several powerful beings, a hero is eventually sent to Adal, who arrives only moments too late to save the Crusader from death. With the help of Kiri and Mori, however, the Crusader is cleansed of his plague and promised only paradise after death. Little is known about the enigmatic race of Naaru. Appearing at the prayer of Velen, they have promised their assistance in the war against the Legion, and the Prophet's visions have revealed them to be the strongest ally in combating the Burning Crusade. With new Naaru revealing themselves now and again, and the beings growing closer to many of the heroes of Azeroth, perhaps one day we will know their history, and the story that brought them into conflict with Sargeras and his demons. Until then, we can only hope that their altruistic intentions are true, and that the light-blessed race is everything they seem to be.